Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Tonight I've got my Lavinia stamps out again. I've got some mixed inks here, my ink blending brushes. I had a sort of vision for this card. I don't really do Halloween, but I've seen a few scenes, sort of mystical scenes on the Lavinia For You website, Facebook side. And I got inspired and I thought I would like to create a scene like that. I would like to create like a forest scene with trees around here, and I've got the whimsical hares. I like this one a little bit. It looks like Pippin, but he's a bit bigger, and I like this hare because he's looking up, he or she. And I've also like this jumping hare, which I think could be nice as a... my idea was to create like a ghost hare. At first I thought I could use him, I forgot now what he's called, but I think he might be a bit too big for my card size. My card is 5x7, because I would like to fit it into my journal. I didn't want to have it any bigger, so this might be a bit too big. But I would like to create like a mystical, ghosty hare for this hare to look at, and as I said, I would like to create a scene. I've never really done this before, but I've seen so many pictures that I think I might be able to do it. But before I start, I just noticed my camera's wobbling quite a bit, so I think I just need to fix my stand before I start. I think I want to start with the middle bit. I want this here to be some light here, as if there is light in the middle of the woods. So I think I go in with the Lost Shadow, because this is a really light grey. By the way, I've got the moon stamp here, but I think I might not use that. I'm not masking any moons just yet. I just want to create this here first. So I'm just testing it here, just with a light application. Just want to go in the middle. Left a bit white there. Don't want too much, but I want it to be not white. So camera actually picks it a bit better up than I can see it. So, and I thought, but again, I haven't tried this, I haven't made this before. I thought this might nicely blend into the salvage patina. So I think I go in with that next, but again, just a light application. I try it with the residue I've got in the lid first. I've got a bit of scrap paper there. So I just want to create like a halo around this area here. I think this actually goes quite nicely together. I think it's already well blended. I don't need to go really back and forth with that. Yeah, I think that will be just enough. And before I go in with my dark colours now, I think I would like to create like a hill. I want somewhere for the hare to sit on. So let me just put this away so I don't mix these up. I always keep my packaging over my brushes to protect my drawer. By the way, I've stuck this down with removable adhesive. I think it's easier than having this move around. So I will just use some scrap cardstock here and just tear a bit of a hill. I know that Lavinia stamps have got hill masks, but I haven't got any. And oh, sorry, I'm going off screen there. And I think I just want some of that. I'm just contemplating whether I want it the other way around. Yeah, I think I go in with that. So to move the whole thing over. Again, I want to start a bit lighter, because where this light here, whether it's coming from the moon or whatever, where it hits the hillside, it will be a bit lighter, and then it will get darker towards the bottom where there's less light. So I think I will just go in with a salvage patina on the top and then try to blend it out into a blue. I've got the dark denim here. I was contemplating the blue atoll, but that might be a bit too bright. So this is a bit heavier hand. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm happy with that. Going in a little bit here, just at an angle, so I'm just moving this about. But I know I will go in with another colour, just to have some variation there. And I'm just now fading this out. I don't want the white edge, that's too harsh. I think that will be just enough. As I said, I've got an image in my head. This might turn out completely different. So I have got, as I said, the dark denim, and I've also got some purple here. So I'm just contemplating which one to go in with. I think I'm going in with the purple next, because this will create some mystical look, hopefully. And then I can use the dark denim as the edge around it. This is not a Lavinia, this is a Spectrum Noir Harmony. Oh, it's actually quite light, it's not very juicy, but I think this one might be just right. So I'm just going around this one now. Could be a bit darker. Because this is a different stamp head, it's got this sort of cloth on the top rather than, it's not a sponge. Sometimes find this a bit tricky to pick up the ink with the ink blending brush. I'm wondering whether I need to come in with a sponge blender. So I'm just going over this a little bit, but it doesn't really work. So I'm just getting a sponge blender, see if that one works better. Yeah, that will definitely work better. So sometimes it's worth adjusting your equipment to the ink pads and the inks you're using. It's a bit streaky, but that's okay, because we'll stamp over that anyway. And apologies again for the camera wobbling. So I just want this a bit more ink blended. See if I can go back in now with the brush. Or I could go in with the Salvage Patina a bit more. See if I can blend it with that. I hope this video is not going to be too long, but as I said, because I don't really know what I'm doing. Well, I've got a plan, but I don't know which steps I'm doing. It's not thoroughly planned through. And I always, if you've been watching me for a while, I always encourage you to just have a go. Just see what you like. I'm not expecting you to recreate my cards. I'm just showing you what is possible. Yeah, I think that's okay now. It looks a bit streaky there, but I think by the time we stamped over that anyway, that will not be an issue. So yeah, so I'm just going around now with my dark denim. Just conscious that I've got a bit of residue on my brush here from the purple. I might even come in with an even darker colour afterwards, but I think for the time being that might just be enough. So I think I'll leave it at that. It looks actually a bit darker here on my camera screen than it does in real life. I know I need to invest in a different purple, definitely. This one's too light, but I'll leave it for here. As I said, I will go over this anyway. I feel it could be much darker, but I'll leave this now. So I think one thing I'd like to do, which I've seen people do on Lavinia cards, is just do a bit of splattering with water. So I'm just getting my water bottle, and I'm also getting a kitchen towel to just mop it up straight afterwards. I've got my water bottle, I've got my kitchen towel, but I've also just torn myself a little mask for the middle because I don't want any splatters there. I want the splatters to look a bit like stars in the background. I'm contemplating I might actually cover the bottom as well, I think. If I want to add anything sparkly there, I'll do that afterwards. So I just want really a fine mist. I can see it reacting. So I'm just mopping this up now. There we go. And I might do a few bigger splats. So I'm just putting some water in my hand and I'll just apply it like this. That's a bit too big, never mind. So I have to mop that up. Yeah, that's a bit too much of a splatter. It's annoying when that happens, but never mind. I might have to put in a moon after all. So, by the way, I'm working on a 300 GSM cardstock. It's a standard cardstock. It's not necessarily watercolor paper, but it works quite nicely with all the inks, and it's quite nice for ink blending. So I'm leaving that to dry for a moment, and as I said, I'll then have to come in with a mask to just create a moon over there. Put some water here as well, and I will quickly set this with my heat tool as well, get a new piece of paper underneath, and then we can start with the stamping. So I cannot find my outer moon masks or circle masks. I've got the inner ones, but it doesn't matter. I've got this stencil here, and after I created the splatters, I decided to go in with a moon after all. So I had a look which one's closest in size. I think this one's fine. So I'm just popping that on there, but I will have to put a little piece of paper on the top so I don't go over the edge there, because I want to go in with some white now, just to cover this a little bit. I've got this Versamagic Cloud White. It is a chalky ink pad. It's not great, but it's the best one for coverage. So I just want just a little bit, and I'm using my sponge rather than my ink blending brush because I don't want to contaminate my ink pad. If I go in with my ink blending brush, I will definitely pick up some of these colours, and I wouldn't like that. So I'm just basically dabbing this on, and again trying to dab any ink off before I go back in, and I'm just softening the middle bit here before I can then stamp my moon onto this. And as with always when you create a moon, it doesn't look much, but when I take this away it should show, you see. So and I think I will also go a little bit in the middle here, because I want, as I said, I want this sort of spooky look or mysterious look. So I think this could be quite nice. As you can see, I've picked quite a bit up of colour up, so I'm very cautious there. So again, I'm leaving that a moment to dry. I've dried the rest with my heat tool, so that is okay now. And then I'm going to stamp the moon. I was always a bit curious. The moon does look a bit different from what it looks on there, but I find when I stamp it, and I like to stamp it actually in a light grey, so either a second generation stamping with the black soot, or I have a look if even the lost shadow would be just enough, because as I said, I want to create something in front of it. I'll have a trial one on the side before I show you which one I've gone for. So this is my trial here. At first I thought the lost shadow would be too chalky, but the black soot is definitely, even in the second generation, is definitely too dark, and I think this will actually blend in quite nicely with the white ink there. So I'm just going for that. I'm just inking it up. So if I'm doing that off camera, and if you have a look at this, it's got this sort of speckled look. I think it's the way this the ink is. My ink pad is quite juicy, but I don't mind that for the moon, as long as I don't have this sort of, can you see that, this sort of streak in it. I could go over it with my brayer and just ink it up like that. Now I've created streaks myself. I might just use the sponge here to spread it out a little bit and soften the pattern. That might be just enough. I never know which round to use it. So this way round, doesn't matter. I'm not even sure if I'm in this circle now or not. Just give the paper some time to absorb it, especially as I've got the white underneath. Oh yeah. And the speckle now looks like it's part of the moon, so that's actually really nice. So I think I go in with the trees now. I've only got 2 trees, which is this one here, the Tree of Wisdom, or the fairy fir tree. And I'm contemplating the one I've seen on YouTube. It was these half trees that go in from the side, and I think I might actually do this with this tree here. Apologies if I can't remember who did that, whether it was Lisa Taggart who made these cards. If I do find it, I will link it below. So, and as this is such a big stamp, I think I will actually use my stamping platform. Or have I got? Yeah, because I don't have an acrylic block big enough, so let me just get my stamping platform ready. So I've placed my tree halfway along the edge here. I like the fact that it's sort of, the curve follows this curve a little bit, so I think this will be nice. And the roots here are just grounded on the top layer here. Let me just cough for a second. I just switch the camera off and I'll be back then. Apologies for that. I haven't got a cold. I think I haven't drunk enough today. So I'm just picking this up. Hope it stays put here. So I only need to ink up half of the stamp. So I'm just doing the whole tree trunk just in case. That's why I left some extra paper there, so I won't go into my stamping platform. So I hope I haven't moved this now by pushing it over here. So I'm just using my pressure tool here, which is just a doorknob with some felt underneath. Yeah, I like that. Maybe could have gone a little bit over, but I want to have enough space, and I think I'll come in anyway with a few other plants. So now I need to do the same on the other side. So I think I'll just fold this over a little bit. I don't want to get rid of it completely. So, and I've shown you this trick before. I don't want to place this stamp now here, down here, because I've got some ink residue on there, and that would just mess it up if I hadn't got it in the right place. So I'm going to find some packaging and I'm going to place that over here. Just bear with me whilst I get that. Normally I've got tons, couldn't find any, but I've got these clear bags that I put my cards in when I give when I give them away to friends to pass on. Or I used to sell cards, but I don't do that anymore. So now I can place down the tree here. And I want it to look a bit different. I don't want it to look like an exact twin. So I might actually move the trunk over a bit more. And also I could place it here a level further down. But I don't want it to go too much into that area. I want to have enough space for that, for the hair. I might actually tilt it just a little bit. I think this would be nice. So I can now take this off, and it's fine now for the stamping. So I need to ink up the other side. I don't think I have used this tree before, I can't remember. So sometimes when you set yourself a challenge and try something new, it's quite good to get stamps out that you haven't used before. Yeah, this is really lovely. So I would like, though, as I've seen before, I would like to have some tree trunks, or do you call it branches, on the top, not tree trunks. So I would just see where I can stamp them here, and I might for that purpose actually just get an acrylic block, because I don't need the bottom. So as long as I press it down firmly, I'm just using tissue to make sure it adheres properly. I can also dab up a little bit of the residue without cleaning the whole stamp. So just to come in from the top here a little bit. Yeah, I think that would look cool. So sorry if I'm going off camera, I'm just inking up the top branches as before. And I'm just coming in a little bit at an angle, because I don't want it to look too symmetrical. I want it to look natural. Yeah, I like that, because this way I've got it sort of framed. I could actually have another bit coming in from that side just to fill the top in there. Just picking maybe just a little area here, so it's not too repetitive. If you ever got a bit on the edge of the stamp, take it off, because it might just smudge your card. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. So I think I'll just have a little think whether I want any other vegetation down here. I've got loads of plant stamps, but I don't want to take away too much from the overall look. So I just have a quick look in my stash what would be possible and what would work. Okay, I have come back to my original idea. Before, I had planned to maybe have this flying hare going across here, but now that I've got the branches here, I think it would be too enclosed. But I think his name is pardon, is Logan. I think he would fit in here very nicely. He's very nicely framed. We've got the moon here as another focus, and I could then just place maybe just even Pippin down here for him to look at him, or maybe even the other hare here. Because it's a silhouette stamp, I can even stamp over the roots there, and I think this would be quite nice. I think they could look at this sort of appearance or ghost in awe. So I will do that. I want to stamp him in the white. I think I'll go with that first and see how that works out. Sorry if I'm putting my things away just for a moment, just to have some more space. So let me just place no, I'll tell you what, I'll take this off now because I'm not going on the edges at the moment. I don't need the scrap paper underneath, and I think it'd be so much easier to work with this now. So I think he could sit just on the edge there, and I'm just making sure it just fits between that branch there and that branch, and I think that would be very good. So I'm just picking him up, and the idea is, I mean, I could use the Lost Shadow again, but the idea of the white ink is that he's got this sort of, as I said, this sort of spirit look or ghost look on him. So just stamping him all over, and he probably will have a sort of speckled look as well. I mean, I know the stamp is created like that, but also the way this ink pad is, it will create a bit of a speckled look, I think. But if that works, I think it'll look really cool. So fingers crossed. So give it some time for the ink to sit on the top, and I really just want to blend it in actually a little bit. I don't want it to be stark white. Oh no, he's disappeared. I can just about see him there. So I like the idea of it. I have do another layer of white, and then I will go in with the Lost Shadow. So hopefully this will give him a bit of a background. If I had wanted to, I could have masked the area first, but I didn't want to have this super harsh contrast. I wanted him to look as if it's sort of fading in. So what I could have done is maybe do a bit of full bleaching before. I'm applying some water and taking some ink off again. But as I said, I hadn't fully thought this through. So yeah, I think I need to go in with a Lost Shadow. But I like, you can see on the, it's because he gets lost on the white bit. On the darker bit, you can actually see him. So maybe I just use a Lost Shadow on the top. See how that works. If it works at all. Or a bit experiment. But that's a good thing about the stamping platform. You can just go back in and have another go. Oh yes, can you see? It's maybe a bit too close to the moon actually, but it doesn't matter. I will though go in at the bottom. I think I didn't put any Lost Shadow there, so just going in there again, just very lightly at the top. Just have a little stamp at the bottom. Yeah, that's better. I like that. I might do some full bleaching after all. Although this obviously is water reactive as well, but I might just go in a little bit to take a little bit away there. I'm not sure yet. I'll have a think about that. So what I will do though is now stamp Pippin and the other hare. That's always my problem. I lose stamps on my desk. Where have they hopped to? I'll find them. They were sitting with the other hares. Just looking at this, I think it actually would be quite nice to have different hares, like this standing one. I think this could be actually quite nice. Having that here, you might get a bit agitated. add the ghost, and then Pippin down here, and maybe have one of the other ones that's facing the other way down here. He could just be looking. No, I want him because he's looking up. But I'll have to have him a bit lower here. Maybe just there. I can always ground them afterwards if I feel they sort of in midair. So I shall do that. So we'll stamp them all at the same time. So just going off camera here now with my Versa fine black onyx. Just inking them up thoroughly, make sure they are saturated. The Pippin's got a bit ink on the edge. I try to wipe that off before I stamp because that'll just mess it up. Just got an idea what I can do with this. I think I will go in with my clear sparkle pen. I think that would give him a ghost or spirit-like look without the full bleaching. Yeah, he could do with a bit of more colour, but I think what I will do is I just go in with a pen afterwards. I think it's because I've got the purple underneath. I don't want to mess this up, so I think I'll take this out now here and just start on the pens now. So let me put this all away, clean up my stamps because I usually don't do that, and then I'll show you how we continue. I have got some black soot here on my ink block, and I just mixed it with a bit of water. Might actually be a bit too much, but this allows me now to fill the hairs in a little bit more and get rid of, let me just show you the before. Can you see how this is speckled? Sorry about the light. So if I go in with this now, I get the colour is a bit more solid, and I can hide the fact that this has actually got the roots of the tree underneath because I stamped over that. And I don't know if the camera picks it up. That is gone now. You can't see that. Pippin was fine. This one can do with a bit more colour still. Get another bit out. Don't have to mix it with water depending on how juicy your ink pad is. Again, he's got a bit of a root on the top here, so I just want to colour that in. Can use watercolour pencils as well. I think they work fine. So that is just fine. So, just looking what else I want to do. As I said to you, I want to ground these hairs a little bit. They need a bit of a shadow at the bottom. Then I need to get him a bit sparklier. So I'm a bit miffed now that he's actually too close to the moon, but it doesn't matter. And I think what I will do is, what I also saw in this video, if it was Lisa Taggart, is just do some faux bleaching on these trees. I really like the look of that. So I think I'll start with that first. So I need some water. Sorry if I'm turning away, I'm just getting this here from the bin. So I'm getting just some water here. And I'm just using my brush again. And I'm just applying that on the tree. I don't want to do it on the side that's not facing the light, but definitely on this side here. And you can already see that the ink is shifting and dissolving. So I can dab that up in a moment with my kitchen towel, but I let it sink in a little bit first, and I'm doing the same on the other side. Also a bit on the branches here. I will come in with my Posca in a moment to also create some light, or maybe even with my pastel. But I like the look of that. Can you see? We need a bit more there. Oh, just mopped it all up. So as I said before, I could do that with him, just maybe take a bit away there and take a bit away there. As long as your inks are water reactive, that works. So just dabbing that up there, but I don't want to mess about with him too much. Can you see the difference there? So I think with it, to get the moon, I think I need to sort of an edge. So I think I will have to find the inner moon mask and create a bit of a shade around that, but mask him off there. I think I'll quickly do that. And yeah, as I said, then we need to ground the hairs. I mustn't forget that, and the trees a little bit as well. And then I think we can come in with our pens. So I found my outer moon mask. It was on the other side of the packaging. Do you do these things? So this moon mask is a bit smaller than the actual moon, but I don't mind that. I will still work around that, and the bigger one's a bit too big. So I don't mind it having a sort of a frame on the inside. But as I said, the important thing is that I cover the hair here, because I definitely want him to be in the foreground. So I'm just, as you just saw, I just tore a bit off, which just follows the shape there on the top. And I think I will just come in with my dark blue, but I'm just using my ink blending brush as it is. I hope I've got enough ink on this to just go around it. So we just have to turn the card a little bit for the right angle. Oh, this is actually reacting with maybe with the white, but that'll be fine. I don't want too much of an edge with the hair. Just want this to blend in a little bit. So let's have a look. Created a bit of a halo around the moon, but that's fine. And look, he's sort of, oh, I'm not quite sure whether I wanted that. Can you see he's in the foreground, but I might have to just go down here the back now, just to blend it in a little bit, because it's too harsh now, the line. Yeah, that works. And the same in the front there. So just covering his nose a little bit like this. Just trying to blend that harsh line. And then ideally creating new harsh lines, but never mind. Just very gently going in like this. Not too happy with this, because it is a very harsh line. I think I'll have to come in with the water again. I hope this video is not going to be an hour long. If it is, apologies for that. So just definitely get his nose there again. I want this to be a proper nose, and maybe I can just fade this out a little bit. Just coming once in with this mask. I really want this to, I think there's too much ink on the brush. Let me come in with a lighter colour, maybe with a patina again. I should have used a patina there. never mind, I still learn along the way. Yeah, I think this is nice now. It's a bit splodgy there, but that'll be fine. Just blending the patina up a little bit. It definitely shows the definition a bit more of this hair. I'm wondering whether I want to give him a little bit of an eye. One thing I could do, obviously, is just stamp over him again, but I won't get him in the right place, so I won't bother about that, unless I just could be tempted to just do that, but no. I think he's lost a bit of the definition of the nose. He's a bit pointy there, but it doesn't matter. But I think he needs a little eye. So never mind. At the moment, I'm just concentrating that I don't forget to ground the hairs. So I'm just getting my blue denim again. So just with a very thin stencil brush again, testing it on the side. I just want to go in at the bottom here. And I will cast a little shadow basically in that direction, so I'm going a bit heavier here. Pippin will cast a shadow to the other side. And then this hair will have sort of a bit of a shadow there, and then a bit heavier here, I assume. I'm just blending this in, basically to soften it. So yeah, as I said, I'll have a quick think what I do to create the eye. I think the trees need a little bit something, and then I'm getting my Posca pen out to just create some highlights on the hairs, and I think then I should really call it a night. I have just used the stencil brush off camera with the dark denim to colour in the trees trunks here a little bit, just to get them darker again. And I've got my Posca pen ready, so I will add some white to the hairs where basically the light from this hair shines onto them. So just dab it along there, a little bit on the toes. I like to do a little bit of squiggly line because to basically imitate the fur. Don't want too much. You will have a bit more because he's standing right next to the apparition. So make a bit on the toes there. Yeah, I think that's just enough. Yeah, I think that'll do. So for the eye, I had the idea, I've got the picture here. I thought all I need to do is create a darker eye in the middle, because this is why he's getting so lost and you can't really see what he looks like. He needs this eye back, and I just decided to just use a pencil because I've got most of the control with that. So I'm just looking at the picture and just imitating that, although it doesn't really matter because nobody will have the picture in comparison, but it's just enough grey. I know it's not bleeding, and I'm just going from the other side because I don't want to put my hand in the Posca. I think I just want to create the eyelid there. Yeah, I think that will just be enough, and I think I'll pop a white pupil in there for the expression. I might give him a bit of a nose because I lost the contours there. I think that would help. Let me just find something to put underneath my hand here. So if I pop the nose back there, and maybe even the mouth. And I can also put a highlight here on the nose, because it will all blend in a little bit. The Posca will seep into this. I think that would be just nice. And then I said, once this is dried, I will definitely put some sparkle on here as well. I've got here my clear overlay. Oh, that's the wrong one. Bear with me. Just realised my Wink of Stella is nearly empty, so I wanted to use this one. This is a Spectrum Noir clear overlay. So I'm just testing that on the side. And I'll start with the ears. Just want to see what that does, because I don't want to move the ink about too much. But I think that would be nice just to have a bit of sparkle on him. Yeah, maybe a bit on the nose. I don't want to pick too much off the Posca, but I think that'll be just enough. I don't think I want any sparkle anywhere else. I could go mental and put loads of highlights on the tree here, but I think I actually like the fact that they fade into the background and the focus is on that hair and on the hairs in the front. I tell you what, I'm really pleased with this. I didn't know what it would turn out. I had this vision, and this is very close to the vision I did have. I messed up a little bit with the nose there, with the ink blending, but I think for my first try, I'm really happy with this. And if you like this too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I post videos at least twice a week. You might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And as it's night and the light's not so good, I will take a photo in the morning and post this at the end of the video for you to have a closer look. Thank you very much for watching.